Hey, hi everyone, and welcome. I'm Hadis, one of the international master students at GU, and I study molecular biology with my colleagues here. Today I have Joel.
Hi, I'm Joel. I'm also an international student and I'm studying the Bio program.
Yeah. And with us today, we also have an expert group of panelists from the departments of marine sciences, conservation, earth science and geo, chemistry and molecular biology, biology and environmental sciences. And we also have our moderators. They will be introduced more before the Q&A starts. We're happy to be here with you today and we'll walk you through what's like to study here and then we'll join the Q&A together with our colleagues. Okay, today's agenda. Here's what we'll cover today. First, we have an introduction of the Faculty of Science and IT, what programs we offer, why many students choose us, and how the admission process and scholarship works. Then we'll finish with some practical information about Gothenburg, and then it's a Q&A section. Okay. First of all, who we are. The University of Gothenburg has a long tradition of high equality education and research. The study environment is open and non-hierarchical, so students are encouraged to ask questions, share their ideas, and also take an active role in their learning. We welcome students from all over the world who want to contribute and create change. Our university areas, such as campuses and other study areas, are spread all over the city. And so campus life is very much integrated with your everyday life in Gothenburg. You're close to cafes, to the sea, to culture, and which makes it easy to combine studies with everything that the city offers. Location-wise, Gothenburg is on the west coast of Sweden, and it's very well connected by train, ferry, and flights. It's known as a friendly and sustainable city, and it's easy to travel to other Nordic and European cities from here. At the Faculty of Science and IT, we have 9 departments. We have over 100 courses in English, and we have 26 master programs. Most programs are closely linked to research, so you study topics that are very current in science. And we have both somehow historic buildings with newly built facilities, and you get the experience of both modern and cozy study areas. One of the best things about Gothenburg is how close the nature is. You can reach the archipelagos, forests, or the other cities, and also nearby countries very quickly. Our classes are often small, and the reason is that somehow it makes it easy for you to talk to teachers and researchers. The atmosphere is usually much more informal compared to other countries, and that's why that you really get to know the people that you work with. We offer facilities with many advanced technologies, such as marine field stations. We have well-equipped labs and our new science building atrium. And you have the opportunity to do field works during your study and also for your master thesis work.
So now let's have a closer look at what we're offering to our international students. Here is a quick overview of our academic disciplines in our faculty. So the majority of our master programs are usually 2 years programs and taught on campus, but there can be exceptions. So it is very important to read the program descriptions on the university website. But for example, in my stay here and in my studies, I had the opportunity to choose courses fairly freely. So I had courses on campus, I had courses remote, and I even had an exchange semester. So And now let's go through some of them. So if you're interested in how natural processes affect individuals, species, or ecosystems, or you want to work with global challenges such as climate change or management of natural resources and sustainable food production for growing world population, then you should apply for our master programs in biology. We have 5 main profiles you can choose from. So it's evolutionary and behavioral ecology. We have physiology and cell biology, conservation biology, biodiversity, and systematics marine ecology. We also have a bunch of collaborative programs like the master program in biodiversity and systematics, which is offered by 7 Nordic universities. And regardless which courses you choose, most teachers are also active researchers that teach you within their field of expertise. So this guarantees an up-to-date education and that you will hear about the latest research findings. But even if the education has a strong research connection, it is equally aimed at those of you who envisage a future outside of academia. For example, at the biotechnology and environmental consulting company, or within various authorities and organizations. If you like to contribute to making the world more sustainable, we have a wide range of master programs connected to climate and sustainability. So, for example, biology, the study of life, all living organisms, and the processes that control them, or environmental sciences, which is more the interplay between humans and nature. So, some programs are more specific and strict when it comes to course freedom, such as ecotoxicology, while in some others, you can build your own study plan and you have a lot of freedom in choosing the courses you want to take, such in an atmosphere, in climate and ecosystem, and also in environmental science programs, or as I've mentioned before, in the program I'm studying. The master program in earth science offers a specialized education in geology or climatology or physical geography, and you can gain an in-depth knowledge of both natural geoscientific processes and the climate changes that affect our time, while being trained in modern analytic tools and advanced lab techniques. The program equips you to work with qualified tasks in infrastructure and urban planning, and the development of sustainable energy systems, climate adaptations, and sustainable environmental protection. Now, the study field of conservation involves the multiple layers of meaning of cultural heritage and is focused on preserving and restoring everything from antique objects, crafts to structures, landscapes, and gardens. And the Department of Conservation offers 2 unique master programs which help combine academic studies with practical research assignments. So the program sharpens your ability to identify process complex issues in the heritage conservation and management field and offers many options for specialization. So the program is based on the field of integrated conservation of built environments, which is cross-disciplinary by nature and represents possible in-depth directions towards buildings, built environments, urban landscapes, and cultural landscapes. If you like to study the science that needs attention in the world today, our master programs in chemistry allows you to create your own unique scientific profile according to your interests and future goals. You can also study the predefined track in neurobiochemistry and interdisciplinary education between chemistry, molecular biology, and medicine. Current research is incorporated into the teaching, so you will have the opportunity to practice your learning and develop a specialization with the possibility to perform an individual laboratory-based project of up to 1 year in one of our top research groups. So in the master program in molecular biology, you will learn how to cell DNA, proteins, and molecules act and interact, and you can solve major biological problems by changing the cell's function and properties. And you can tailor your education to your own interests and ambitions with advanced level elective courses. And at the end of your studies, you will perform an individual laboratory-based project of up to 1 year in one of your research groups, preparing you for a successful research career in academia, industry, or public authorities. We also contribute research to UN goal for a sustainable future via studies and research environmental and climate change, cancer, brain diseases, resistance to antibiotics, just to name a few. And we have high quality research and education in the areas of chemical sciences and molecular life science. Now, many of our courses have a field work conducted on one of our research stations or research vessel. So the University of Gothenburg offers several international master programs connected to the ocean, and the marine and maritime research at the University of Gothenburg is prominent in several research fields, and all teaching is done by active researchers. So this provides a solid foundation for your studies in a way that is unique in the Swedish context. The master program in marine science is interdisciplinary. So the program gives you a broad knowledge of the ocean as a system and develops your analytic abilities, preparing you to help solve tomorrow's problem in marine science. Based on your previous studies, you can choose courses with physical oceanography, marine biology, marine chemistry, or marine geology. And the program equips you to work with sustainability and global challenges caused by, for example, climate change and growing population. And if you're interested in a more collaborative program, the Marine Biological Resources is an Erasmus Mundus program in which there are many partner universities and you study for certain periods at those universities.
Oh, thanks. Now, why to even consider choose us? We know that choosing a university is a big decision. There's a lot of information to process. And then we want to give you some points that why we can be a great stepping stone for international talent. First of all, the University of Gothenburg is at the forefront of European marine research, and our marine courses connect theory with practical observation on, in, and at the sea. Here, learning in classes are directly connected to world-leading research. Your teachers are active researchers, and many courses all built around ongoing research projects, such as experimental physics, biochemistry, atmospheric science, climate ecosystem, systematics, and biodiversity, and also unique field of cultural conservation. Sustainability is a core part of who we are. In 2004, we became the first university in the world to be environmentally certified. Gothenburg also is a world leader when it comes to sustainability and has been named the world's most sustainable destination for several years. We also care about study life balance, so you can have a healthy life alongside your studies. And at the end, you will join a diverse community of students and staff from all over the world in a city which is known for its inclusive atmosphere.
So now let's jump into the practicalities on how you can apply for a degree program at the University of Gothenburg. So Sweden has a national admission portal, which means that you can apply to different universities at the same time through the same portal, and that is called universityadmission.se. The international admission round opens up in mid-October, so it's open now, and you can apply for 4 master levels programs or 8 bachelor level programs at the same time. Then you have some time before the deadline for application, which is on 15th of January. And supporting documents can be added until the 2nd of February, but the programs must be applied for beforehand. So don't forget to sign up in time. Then comes the waiting process until you finally get notified about the admission results in the end of March. And again, this is all happening over the admission portal. Those required to pay tuition fee will receive payment instructions from the university after their admission. And the first installment of tuition fees is usually due on the 1st May, but we will talk a little bit more about tuitions later on. Then is already the beginning of the semester, and we organize a welcome program packet with useful information about the university, Sweden, and Gothenburg. And you will get to know the city and hopefully make tons of new friends. Now, about how the semester usually looks like. So here in Sweden, we have 2 semesters, an autumn and in spring. And each semester is divided into 2 periods, which the courses will follow. And one semester is usually 20 weeks, and the credits per semester are 30 credits. And the credits are compatible with the ECTS system. Now to the tuition fee. Students who are citizens of countries outside of the European Union, European Economic Area, and Switzerland are required to pay application and tuition fees in Sweden. So application fees are usually 900 SEK, so Swedish crowns, and the tuition fee is program specific. So all these details you will find in the program description once again on the university website. So you don't pay tuition in Sweden for any of these reasons listed here. As we said before, a Swedish citizen, or if you have a citizenship in EU, EEA, or in Switzerland. If you have been granted a permanent Swedish residence permit or a temporary Swedish residence permit for another reason than studies, or if you have a family member in EU, EEA, or Switzerland, or with someone that has a temporary or permanent residence here in Sweden, or if you're an incoming exchange student or a PhD student in Sweden. Now, for those of you that need to pay tuition fee, there are scholarships that could help cover the cost of your studies at the University of Gothenburg. Here are just 2 examples of opportunities where the Axel Adler Scholarship is our own flagship program for fee-paying students. There are more specific scholarships you can apply for as well, for example, when it comes to traveling costs or living costs. So there are a bunch of options you can apply for.
Okay. Tips on finding housing. For student housing, the most important step is to register with SGS as soon as you are admitted. Look specifically at direct and system minuten options and check the website for apartment type, rent, and waiting time. It's very user friendly, so if you just go through the website of SGS, you will find good information there. You can also look for private housing through Facebook groups and sites like Bostadsblocket. Be flexible with areas and be careful about the scams. Consider booking temporary accommodations if you need to book hotel for your first days that you come here, if you need more time to search. We also have a QR code that you can find more information there. And yeah, soon we'll move into our question and answer part. Please write your questions in the QA box. Anything about programs, admissions, housing, or student life is very welcome. And these are our panelists who will answer your questions representing different subject areas. We're happy to share our experiences, so feel free to ask both practical and academic questions. We hope this webinar has given you a clearer picture of what it's like to study here. If Gothenburg sounds like a good fit for you, we would be very happy to welcome you here in person. And you can find all the information needed about our programs and studying at our university on our website. And we have a virtual tour where you can explore our campuses on our YouTube. On our YouTube channel, there are interviews that we had recorded before with students, and this webinar also will be published there. You should absolutely check out our Instagrams with our digital ambassadors. They are sharing insights in everyday life as an international student at the faculty. And thank you very much.
Hi, is it possible to go back to the slide with the panelist on them?
Yes, sure.
Yes. Okay, we do have a question. I'm planning to apply for Masters in Molecular Biology. Could you please give me some insight about the GPA requirements?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that word.
So someone's planning to apply for molecular biology and they're asking the requirements for GPA.
GPE, I don't know what that is really, because I think I can hear
Grades,
myself
the
some
grades that
sort
are
of
required.
echo here. But
Well, we don't have any special grades you need to have to be admitted to the program. So I think that answers the question.
But I wonder why I hear myself in an echo. Do you hear me in an echo as well?
Yes.
Yes.
I hear you in an echo.
Oh, that was not good. But I have problems with my computer today. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So all students that fulfill the requirements we have will be the same place in the admittance system, I guess.
You can always also check the university website if they have any specific requirements for you for the specific courses. So that would also help you answer the question. Yeah, if you don't have any more questions, I can go on with some that we have prepared for. The first question is for Isabel. With the bachelor's in biology, if I would like to do the master's in earth science in the university, will I be eligible for the program with BSc in biology?
I cannot give a general answer as yes or no because it's based on individual aspects, whether you have done any courses in basics in earth sciences within your BSc in biology, or if it's more into environmental sciences, because these subjects are close connected. So I would say that yes and no. But most likely, if you are interested in earth sciences, probably you will have some courses within your bachelor degree that we could consider as eligible for the master's in earth sciences.
There's a question regarding the master's program in CE and Society. The person wants to know if there are any specific field trips that are integrated in the course.
Yes, they are. During the first year, there will be 3 field trips, and these are to the marine field stations that the university has on the western coast of Sweden, and there's also to a World Cultural Heritage Site, which is called Tanum, and this is when we study the first course, which is about history of sea and society relationship. So field trips in Sweden, yes.
Okay. So there's a question regarding, we have one more. Do you have any statistics on accessibility to the master's program? How many students applied last year and how many are accepted. I am particularly interested in the geography program. Maybe this is something we can answer as a later Q&A, because the statistics none of us have the statistics in hand right now. Isabel, do you have an answer to this, maybe?
If you give me a few minutes, I can take the statistics. But this year, we had 20 students admitted to this geography master's program, and we had a waiting list. So it's quite popular, I would say. But how many students we can accept can vary from year to year. So don't be too much focused on the numbers we had this year, because it can be flexible for maybe next year. I would also say that something that we need to inform you about if you're interested in geography master's program is that you need to have at least 15 credits of GIS. It's Geographical Information Systems. So this is something that is very important to have if you are interested in this program. And if you don't have it today and you want to apply, you can try and take GIS courses and add them as supporting documents, as our ambassadors talked about earlier in the presentation. But I can maybe answer, can I answer in the chat, or do I need to send it somewhere?
Maybe we can put it in the Q&A that we post later on, so we can answer it there accurately. Thank you.
I have some figures here. I was looking up the statistics at the university and at the University Council of Sweden. Says that there were 165 admitted students. This was for fall of 2024. And there was a slight increase by one student in fall of 2025.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. We can move on from this question. There's a question regarding the conservation department to Paula. Do we have Paula on the panel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So someone's asking if they can join the conservation program with a bachelor's in logistics.
Which master program do you mean? Do you mean that with specialization or the other one?
They've not specified, it's just the conservation program in general, either of them with the specialization in logistics.
No, I don't think so. I think you need something else than that.
So there are some questions, just a general question that I can ask Mary, if it's okay. There are two rounds, two application rounds for the master's program, and just to describe on how does it work, like what are the two rounds, why are they separated in a way? If someone else wants to jump in to answer that.
I can try it now.
Okay, I will try to answer that question. The first round is for applicants from outside the EU that does not have to apply for a visa and residence permit. And the second round is more for Swedish and within the EU that don't have to apply for the visa. Because if you need to apply for a visa and apply for the second round of admittance, then you won't get the visa before the program starts.
Okay. It's also a general question again to everyone. So it's more about what kind of documents are needed or specific requirements to apply for any of the master's program. and where can the students get the right information about?
Maybe I can answer that because we have requirements for Sea and Society. And of course, the documents will vary depending on the master's program. And then on the faculty's website, you will find information. Everything is there. But for Sea and Society, you are required to submit a CV and a motivation letter. And this is all of the extra documents that we are requiring.
There's a question regarding chemistry masters. It says, is it possible to follow a trial lecture or a lesson online so that we get a better idea of the context of the course, but also mainly the depth of the subject? Is it possible for students to have a crash lecture or like a crash course before they make a decision for it?
I don't know if I get
It's
the question, but you mean right now?
before they are admitted to the course.
No, we don't have any online courses. All courses are on campus, so I think that will be hard.
Okay.
I haven't had that question before, so
Okay. Yeah, I have a question for my fellow panelist student counselors. Uh, how would you describe the help from the panelist, the international counselors and the study counselors of the programs in your specific departments or in general, since you've been here for a year now?
I can take this. I would say they're really helpful. Like if you just, I think it depends mostly on you. If you go and ask for help, I haven't seen ever that even from other departments, if you have a generic question, they will never say like, no, or this is not related to us. They usually are very helpful. And I always had a good experience and I'm so happy with every time that I had reached out. So I would say everyone is helpful and it's like that they really want to see that you are reaching somewhere.
I can definitely agree with that one. They're very helpful, and even if they don't know the specific answer, they will definitely send you further along to another person. In my program, it's a very different program, I'd say, than others. So we are mostly outside of the University of Gothenburg as well. So very little people know what we're actually doing. So, and even then, they were very helpful. They took their time answering, and yeah, so that was very helpful. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We also have a question again regarding the study of environmental sciences. They're asking what are the supporting documents required to study the master's program, and specifically, they're interested in MSc in environmental science and have over 2 years of experience in environmental science.
No.
I'm sorry,
And
wait.
hmm?
The person has studied microbiology, and they want to
Microbiology.
focus on environmental biology right now, environmental sciences.
Okay, so for microbiology, there as environmental sciences, it is a field which touches on many other science, many other fields of studies within the science area. So that you will find courses in everything from green and especially white biology, and you will also find you will find there will also be some geosciences in this program, uh, and as such, entry requirements do require that you have a bachelor's degree in one of these fields. So that would either be chemistry, earth sciences, geography, biology, and of course environmental sciences, as we also offer at our institution. So that would be the main, that would be the most important document, I would say.
There's also one question for you again. The person has studied biology but doesn't have the diploma until June. So is it okay just to have the grades submitted for the admission without the high school diploma?
So it's like this.
So
Is and this is for this is an international student or
yeah.
or a student from abroad asking. The thing is, there is well, it really depends on if the student abroad is from Europe or outside of or outside of the Erasmus Corporation, um, because uh, for EU citizens, uh, kind of the same rule applies as for our national citizens that they need to submit their applications by mid-April. But there is a time limit for these applications to be completed with necessary documents such as degrees, which also enables, say, uh, the sophomores, seniors in high school to apply during their last year. So they apply in the middle of April, and then they can send in their documents uh, once they receive them by June. So there's a deadline for that, and it's usually around midsummer, which is usually around 20th to 24th of June. So that's what applies for also. That's also what applies for European students. But I can't tell for sure uh, what applies for students outside of this corporational area because they need to apply at an earlier point than the other students. Is there someone who can help me fill me in on
I
this?
can answer that, I guess. I mean, if you're on your last year of studies, then you need some kind of certificate from your home university that states that you will finish this year. And then you upload that certificate. And when you get your diploma, you show it to us when you start.
Mhm.
But all documents must be uploaded before February 2nd and June 20th, I think, depending on which round you apply for.
So it's sorry for interrupting, but it's the same deadline that applies for all students concerning the documents. So it's around midsummer, June 20th, for completing
When you
their
apply for
application.
the international round, the first round, then you upload all documents before February 2nd, and this includes that certificate that you're on your last year of studies.
Oh, the certificate.
And when you
Okay.
apply for the second round of studies,
Mm.
if you have a visa, that is, then you must upload everything before midsummer. I think it's June 20th.
Okay. Thank you, guys. There's a question for Evelina regarding international students who will be coming. Is there any mentorship program or any kind of help that the university provides for the international or the new coming students?
I would say if Evelina microphone has problem now, maybe we can send links of details, answers, and links later to our students and whoever that had asked the questions. Maybe that would be easier. And yeah, like if there are details, because we also need to gather the links and information, so that will be helpful. But we can
But
say
in
very much
someone else-
for now. Is there more questions that we can answer now, or is there like more detailed questions that we need to send links and details?
I'm happy to answer all questions, but in writing after this catastrophe.
Okay. Then maybe we do have a few minutes more, so maybe you can ask more questions regarding some general questions to the panelists. Are there any common problems for the international students who come each year? Any kind of advice that you might want to give to the new students who are applying this coming year?
I
Leo,
mean,
Martin,
always,
anyone who
sorry,
wants
could
to?
you repeat the
Yeah,
question?
can you?
Like
I didn't get it.
problems, reoccurring problems for international students, or
Yeah, but it's more for the panelist,
yeah.
not for maybe they have more important details on that. Like
I can answer
anything
this
that
question. Something that a lot of the international students are experiencing is a culture shock, and especially if they're moving from further away. And we have a lot of students who come from outside of the EU. And for this particular group of students, for all group of students, actually, we have the student mentorship group, which is led by second-year master students, international second-year master students, who have been in these particular situations, and that can be anything from how the studies are organized, how Swedish people are thinking and behaving, what to do when you feel lonely. And from previous students, we have gotten the feedback that they've been very happy to have this mentorship group to not only meet more senior students, but also to meet new classmates and sometimes from the same country. So this is definitely something that the students have been appreciating. I think something else that students are saying is that winters can be hard and dark. And there's help for that too. I think in general, like in terms of the admission or in terms of the studies here at the university or in Sweden in general differs quite a bit from, I think, what other people are used to. And this is both that people are used to a more hierarchical structure between the students and the teachers, or also just how courses are set up. And I think this is very normal that this takes time to get used to it. But after a couple of months, I think you've gotten the hang of it, and I think the students can also attest to that. Maybe you had a similar experience.
Yes, exactly. We're also part of those student ambassadors groups. So we would be happy if someone reach out to us if there is a specific question that they don't feel comfortable asking a study counselors or a study coordinator. They can definitely reach out to us, or from our Instagram, they can gather some information. And yeah, we can share some experiences and tips on what Mari said.
Yeah. I would just like to end this question answer with the last question to all the panelists and the ambassadors to answer. Why should a student choose GU as their university to come abroad, and what's the best part to study here?
Um, I think
Maybe
that
the
can
ambassadors
become a
can.
little bit like personal from person to person is different. But for me, I was really interested in the city, and in the city for my studying, which in molecular biology and chemistry, well, Gothenburg University was somehow the best choice to me. I like the environments. I like that the study areas are so spread in the city. I enjoy it that I can choose a library wherever I am, and I can also enjoy the Wi-Fi connection that I have. So it makes it somehow so easy to have access to everything. And I can say I've been also to other universities here. The closeness that I have felt here had been different between us and study counselors. And yeah, so for me had been mostly for the city and to my specific program. But I didn't have like idea that what would come after. Now I'm even more happy with my choice because everyone had been like helpful, that not forcing their own somehow way, and understand what is your interest and then support you with that.
That's very nice to hear.
Yeah, that would be for you.
For me, it was more about the international environment that is set in Gothenburg. And Gothenburg University as well is just many international students, and there is a big exchange of your backgrounds. So even if you didn't study the same thing or had different courses, Gothenburg University is a platform to share all these impressions and create new ideas. So I think that I've experienced it before when I came here for a visit, and that was a very easy decision to make to come here for my master's. So
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, guys. If there are any last questions from the people on the webinar, the students, please feel free to add on, and you can always put it in the box, and in case it's not answered now, it will be answered later when it's posted on the website. Yeah, I think we are at the end of the webinar then.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we hope that this has been helpful to all of you. And feel free to reach also later to any of us or study counselors.
yes, exactly. And all the questions we will find the links. We will try to give as big and detailed answers as possible, and we will upload that too. So you will have access to all of the presentations and all of the information once again through link and on the website. Thank you so much for being here, everyone.